Okay, I am over here at my Unity, and I need to replace this strap that I put across the top of my door, and I did it because I didn't want the wind to catch the door. You know, sometimes when you're opening the door and it's windy outside, it'll grab the door and push it against the rig, and I didn't want that. I already had this a situation where it did rip it out of my hand and broke that prop off, but I didn't want that to happen again. So I added this strap quite a few years ago, and we've never had another incident of the wind grabbing the door. So I'm going to get up there and remove that strap and show you what I did, you know, originally, and what I'm going to reuse to replace it. Okay, but first I need to put my step in so I can get my ladder closer. And if you put a magnet over this little spot in your door frame, you'll see it causes the step to pull in. So that's a handy little tip. And you can always leave this magnet if you want to leave it in. Like if you know you're going to park where there's like a curb or something, you can just leave it in, the door closes, no problem. And then I just stick it. I actually stick it inside on one of the screws of my switch, and then I always have the magnet with me to use to pull in the step. Okay, to show you a little bit better, I drilled a hole originally in basically at the top of this curve. We'll look at that when I pull it out and measure it for you. But this is just a dog strap, you know, a dog leash. This is actually like a double thickness, and I'm gonna, I think I have another one, I'm gonna reuse it. And then up here, okay, and up on the top of the door, if you lift up the seal, you'll see there's a screw on this end. And there was the same screw under the seal on this end, which I used to attach my dog leash to. So I'm just going to undo all this and take this off and make a new lead and come back, and I'll show you the screws that I did use. As you can see, this is like a truss head screw. It's a larger headed screw than the original one, you know, because I wanted to be able to hold this leash. So I'll remove this and show you the screws. Okay, so I remembered incorrectly. I thought I used a real long screw, but I didn't. I used 1-inch truss head screws on each end of my strap. And I used self-tapping so it would be easy for them to go in. And then the strap that I used is about 30¼ inches long. So, you know, it's whatever length you use based on where you put the hole in the corner of the door. And as I said, I just used old dog. I have some old dog leashes, but I have this one that's double thickness. And you can see over the years, well, the top part, you know, that faced where it faced the sun, that kind of got a little dry rotted. But there's this second strap, which is underneath it. It still probably has a lot of life in it, but I'm just going to go ahead and replace it. And so I have plenty of length. I actually I thought I folded it over. I did fold it over on this end. This end is already folded over, so I'm just going to poke a hole in that end and cut it to length. And I'm going to use a lighter to seal the end, and I'll get it back up there, and we'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I'm just using a point and poking a hole through the ends. This one that goes on the door has to be very close to the end, which is why I like to make it a double thickness and glue it down like with some hot glue or something, just so it's you know it's going to have a good hold. Okay, so then I've got put my screws in, get them started. Anyway, so I'll do that and I'll get back up there and we'll get it installed. Okay, like I said, this has to be short so it can fit there next to the seal. So I will just go ahead and screw this down, and it'll be at an angle like this when I get it in, since it's cutting across the opening to the corner of the door. And I made this strap just slightly smaller than the door's natural swing open. So it actually just pulls the door in slightly, so this has the tension basically on the door, so it doesn't get pulled out of your hand very far if the wind grabs it. Okay, so here we have it. I put a little hot glue over the area where I had damaged the gasket, so you can be more careful than I did. So this end, the door end, is done, and now I will do the inside of the door screw. Okay, as I said originally, I drilled a hole basically at the top of this arc, and I wanted it to be as far over in this corner as possible, because the more I believe personally that the more angle that you have on the door, the stronger the strap is, the more angle you have on the strap, the stronger it is to hold the door. So I originally drilled a hole right in this corner, and this is the hole that I'll use for the 1-inch truss head screw that I'm going to go back with. Okay, now as I'm screwing this in, I'm pulling the door in a little bit because, like I said, I wanted a little tension on the door. I want the strap to have the tension on the door because I don't want the little prop rod down at the bottom of the door to get sprung again. So I want this strap to take any pressure if it gets snatched in the wind. So let me put this in and I'll come back. Okay, so now you can see the strap is fine with the screen door, and then you can see how it's going to just naturally bend in when you close the door. So it's not in the way of the door from working at all. But let's go inside and show you what it looks like from the inside. Here it is, looking out from the inside of the screen of my screen door. So you can see that nice angle, which is gonna be the strongest when the wind grabs it. Now I'm going to show you how it works when we shut the door. So as you can see, when you're shutting the door, it folds in very nicely. And it shuts just fine. And then if you look at it, see, it's just flat. There's enough clearance inside where it doesn't really get pinched or anything. So then you just have this strap, right here in your doorway, which we don't care anything about, because we'd rather have the door spared if a big gust of wind grabs it. And then that's how it works. So there you go.